based on a document being circulated by the White House to Democrats. These recessions should not be focused on funds that had not been spent by agencies on the respective crisis-era programs. But unspent crisis dollars have long been a target for Republicans, who question the administration's request for more funds, arguing the nearly $5 trillion spent on crisis relief was excessive and also helped drive inflation. Some of these programs were largely concluded, and others will only see partial recessions, while others were taken because there are no immediate demands. Even the White House budget director was a key negotiator on the deal. The appropriators will use some of that money to spread around how they see fit and individual line items to bill. In other words, these unused crisis funds will be distributed by Congress during this year in budget process to other parts of the federal budget, reducing overall government spending. But as recently as late last year, the White House has asked Congress for an additional $10 billion in crisis funds. The money never came through, and now the administration has agreed to give $27 billion back, including a significant portion of what remained in the fund for emergency preparedness and response. States are in the process of allocating money towards new programs. A guaranteed income program in Wisconsin issued its latest payment worth $500. The payments are put forward every single month, and a lot of people receive them and receive the money they need. And the program as a whole will be the last one for one more year. This first payment was issued in September, and the final payment will be sent in August. But even a household of two, for example, can make more than $36,000 and get the payments every single month. Now, some governors are backing a one-time tax rebate to put as much as $800 in the pockets of the American people. And the governor told reporters a paycheck does not go as far as it did 2 years ago, and I'm working to give nearly $1 billion back to the hands of hard-working, tax-paying Alabama residents. But applications for new guaranteed income programs in Massachusetts, for example, opened, with selected participants receiving monthly payments of up to $500. So folks, it's great to see that Joe Biden is actually doing something to help the American people, which since mid-2022, politicians have warned Americans and a growing number of tax people to be exact about this. And the IRS has said that it wants to hire new employees using funds from the $80 billion allocated to recessions. Governors and lawmakers are proposing and urging to tap into these surpluses just to cover tax cuts and greater spending on priorities like infrastructure and education, though most states can't even afford it. Financial experts are nonetheless urging caution because of concerns that the U.S. could slip into a recession. And by the way, everybody, as the legislature prepares for the 2023 sessions, governors and lawmakers are proposing to tap into these surpluses to cover tax cuts and greater spending on priorities like infrastructure and education, though most states cannot afford it. The financial experts are nonetheless urging cautions about this, after projecting an unprecedented $97 billion surplus in California just 7 months ago. State officials are forecasting a roughly $25 billion deficit in the next budget. California imposes higher taxes on the wealthy, and now they are lending to pendulum-type swings in tax revenues as the stock market just rises and falls. State tax revenues surged well beyond expectations after back-to-back years of double-digit percentage growth in revenues. States ended their 2022 fiscal years with a record cash because of nearly $343 billion in the reserves. But right now, folks, several states across the country are considering just a new way to help the low income financially. Unfortunately, Hawaii is not one of those states. It has been confirmed that Hawaiian lawmakers have dropped board tax relief proposals. And according to state officials, a few tax credit programs could be benefiting the low-income households and were advanced by negotiators in the state, in the House of Representatives and the Senate. And large, broad-payer tax relief programs by the governors were also dropped. The Hawaii taxpayers can expect less generous tax relief than proposed earlier this year, under a bill proposed and positioned for final votes next week at the legislature. The agreed-upon tax relief was influenced by a number of people. First of all, the plan would eliminate a retirement tax of 4.24% and exit to Social Security, and it may take effect sooner than we expected. As Social Security is adjusted on an annual basis, lawmakers are working together to improve the program. On one hand, bigger monthly payouts may arrive for many beneficiaries, but a certain group of people could see their tax liability increase. For over 49 million retired workers who depend on Social Security benefits, the program is a vital financial lifeline that helps cover their monthly expenses. This retirement program has a significant impact, lifting more than 20 million people out of poverty. It includes 15 million individuals aged 65 and above. But Social Security is not a static system. It continuously adapts to changes in the U.S. inflation rate, life expectancy, and other relevant factors. Although specific changes won't be announced by the SSA until October, there are several changes that will take effect in 2024. The most anticipated change is the cost of living adjustment, which is an annual increase intended to keep the pace with the rising cost of living. Due to high inflation, though, people are having questions about it. In 2023, beneficiaries reached the highest COLA in 41 years, but the COLA for 2024 is expected to be more modest. The nonpartisan senior advocacy group, the Senior Citizens League, estimated that the COLA for 2024 will be 3%. For the average hire worker, though, receiving $1,900 would mean an additional $55 per month next year. Unfortunately, though, the purchasing power of Social Security benefits have been declining regularly since the start of the century, and any increase actually won't even adequately address the estimated loss in purchasing power that is experienced by seniors since 2000. Another change for the upcoming year involves high-earning workers who will see an increase in payroll taxes due to a rise in the maximum taxable earnings cap. The payroll tax contributes about 90% of the program's revenue, and only about 6% of workers reach the maximum taxable earnings cap a year. Additionally, high earners collect Social Security benefits. They may experience a large monthly payout, as the maximum monthly benefit amount at a full retirement age is expected to rise in 2024. To qualify for the maximum Social Security benefit, you must meet 3 criteria. You must be the retirement age of full, work at least 35 years, and reach or surpass the maximum taxable earnings cap at all 35 years used in calculation.
I recognize the gentleman from New York, Mr. Jacobs, for 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, and thank you to all the panelists and Speaker Gingrich for being here today. This is a very critical issue for the future of our nation and our young people. I served for over 7 years on the Buffalo School Board, so kind of a lot of my tone here will be with that experience, but certainly it highlighted for me the significance of what you're talking about today. I can't recall the exact statistics, but I do remember our kindergartners and our pre-K kids coming in with a significant number of them already needing remedial help because of the fact that they had oral language deficiencies and the other basic building blocks that are required for them to be able to learn to read. And so this is a very important issue. Mr. Malek, I just wanted to ask one question. Your testimony
Round of the Crisis Essential Premium Pay Program is about to begin. The amounts to $165 million, funded through federal crisis relief dollars. Checks will be mailed automatically to eligible Massachusetts residents. In the first round of the program in March, distributed $500 checks to about 480,000 people. Officials said that people who received those payments are not eligible for this latest stimulus funding. Also not eligible are those who received unemployment benefits in 2021 or a crisis relief